Yo, what up? SG Trilogy. My man Marmello. Get on the mic because you know you eat Jello. What's going on?
AC, we are back.
We
We're
back.
back.
We back.
Man, it seems like we've been gone for a minute, but
Yeah.
we are back in the mix on this Saturday morning, man, and I feel good. Got enough sleep, got a haircut. We ready to rock.
We ready to rock. What they call it? We've been
Ready
gone
to
for
rock.
what? A month of Sundays? Yep.
Yeah, man.
2 new haircuts in the building. That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, so it's episode 121 of the Collective Podcast. We are here.
New Collective Podcast.
Okay. We are back. And you know how you talked about the red exclamation points that weren't there? Now they just popped up. So you know what? It is what it is. It'll be what it'll be. We are here. We're rocking episode 121. We always appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're tuning in live or you're watching it back on one of the platforms that we're on, or you're listening to it on any of the DSPs. We appreciate you as always. So Sam, my man, SG Trilogy.
New SG Trilogy.
Ooh, that sounds so clean. That sounds so clean. That
New
sounds so
SG Trilogy. New SG Trilogy.
So he is SG Trilogy, and I am
New AC from LA.
I am AC from LA.
New AC from LA.
I like the sound of that. All right, my man. We gonna
New
kick it off
Podcast.
with a special guest. And I'm gonna drop him in, and then I'm gonna let you introduce him. You ready to rock?
Man, let's rock. Let's get this thing going. Let's
get this
go.
thing going. Bam.
My man has entered the building. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you know, we talk about being a Renaissance man. We talk about working off the beaten path. We talk about traveling the world. This man has done just that. We have with us Anton Barnes. He is a expert in all things public relations, marketing, branding, and more importantly, his heart is one of a philanthropist. And this is someone who I've rocked with for years, someone who I admire. And I'm happy that this man has set aside some time to join us this morning. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention he's an alum of a great institution, and that being the Morgan State University. So, Brother Barnes, man, I'm glad you're here to rock with us on the Collective Podcast this morning. Good morning.
Wait. Go, yes, good morning, Brother Barnes. You didn't. I don't think you knew my mom went to Morgan.
I didn't know that.
My mom
Well,
went to
then
Morgan.
you know what? Me and you we'll be starting out on a good foot. I think me and you will get along well.
All right. Well, welcome, Mr. Anton Barnes. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, Saturday morning only for you guys. Only for you guys.
We appreciate that.
But I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Yes. And AC, just backstory. It's amazing that this man is in the country because he spends so much time around the world. You never know where you're going to catch him, what time zone. You just so happen to look up. You'll talk to him yesterday and find out he's halfway around the world. So that's how he operates. He's probably holding on to about 5 passports because all the stamps are taken.
So do you know for sure that he is in the country right now?
I was about to say you're not sure that I'm here. Exactly.
Look, I'm looking at the daylight saying maybe, but I don't know.
All right. Well, we appreciate you gracing us with your presence, not just us, but our viewers and listeners. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me once again.
Yeah.
Man, so let's go ahead and get into it. Mm-hmm. So Anton, you know, as we know how our paths crossed. During my time working and living in Philadelphia, we met. And backstory. So with the brand architects, as I mentioned, they're into all things branding, PR, marketing, you name it, that is their forte. And so Anton, as he leads his team, we met due to one of his clients that was playing for the Eagles at the time. So Anton, kind of give us some background in terms of how you got your start. I know you've worn a couple of different hats. I'm seeing those plaques on the wall behind you, and you've done a lot of interesting things. So kind of give us give us the background in terms of how you got your start.
Okay, so I started the Brand Architects. This was 2010. Prior to that, I was in the music industry. I was a record executive. I was a director of marketing, from the regional aspect to the national aspect, from labels like Rockefeller Records. I started my career actually at Rockefeller Records back in 1995. Was there for 3 years until I transitioned over to Loud Records. And then I went from Loud Records to Universal Motown. That's where I kind of really expanded and really grew into and got my teeth real deep into the music industry. But while I was in the music industry, I was exposed to the sports realm as well too. Back in those days, all the athletes wanted to rap. I worked the Allen Iverson project. I worked the Kobe Bryant project. I worked the Shaquille O'Neal project. And, being at Universal, which still to this day at the time was the largest record label, the largest distribution outlet, we had a large outlet. We had a large number of clients, basically artists. And I would meet these athletes because back then, if I'm on tour with Nelly, believe me, Vernon Davis and all these guys want to come hang out. And, I built a relationship with them because I would just have conversations with them. So, hey guys, if you blow your knee out, what happens after that? And a lot of the young men, when I would get into those conversations with them, they had no idea. And also when I was in the music industry, I saw a lot of similarities. And I'll just be honest with you, between artists and athletes. Literally, we'd be on a conference call talking about an artist that maybe sold us 5 million records. The next week, we weren't even talking about him. You're irrelevant. Okay, goodbye. Next. And, everybody sits here and they just look at the Jay-Z's, the 50 Cents, the guys that were able to use their brand as an artist to create opportunities outside of music, but they don't see the 90% of artists that are literally hot today and not tomorrow. And I would sit back and I saw a lot of similarities with athletes, especially in the NFL. I mean, it's brutal in the NFL. And I would have, like I said, I would sit back and I would meet guys. I mean, I would meet Hall of Fames. I won't name any names. I go to Super Bowl and I'd meet guys that are literally on the Hall of Fames and they are a shell of a man. Like they were like, okay, they're like still dependent on the league. Like whatever the peanuts the league gives them, that's what they live and die by. And I saw a problem with that. And, by the time, 2010 came around, I got burnt out from the music industry. I'll just be honest with you. I saw where the music was going. I saw what they were doing to our culture and our people, how bad it influences it. And, I could go into that, but I just morally had to transition out of that realm because just like the entertainment industry, music industry is full of shady people. I'll just be honest with you. You can't trust nobody. It's all about the bottom line, the dollar, and the damage that was being done through the music to our community. I was in those meetings. I would see the difference on how rap and R&B was being marketed in comparison to country, pop, and all these other aspects. And I just couldn't. I just couldn't live with that. So I was like, you know what? Let me look into this sports thing. And Vernon Davis was my first client, and that's when I started the Brand Architects. And the Brand Architects here, what we do is we highlight the individual, not the athlete. Like I tell my client, I haven't been to a game in 6 years. I'll be honest with you. Last football game I went to, I think it was 2017. It was an Eagles game, and I left at halftime because I was like, okay, this just it. The athlete side is very similar to. I tell the young men personally, if you're just an athlete, you're disposable. Okay, let's just be honest here. And you have to use the platform while you have it to expose your brand as a person. Like, I don't care if you want to cook, paint, build houses, whatever it is, because you're in a unique position that the typical 21, 22-year-old Black man isn't. Whereas, okay, we have to be an intern. We have to go entry level. We have to have this certificate, this, whatever. When you're in the NFL, the door's cracked open for you. What you going to do with it? And a lot of the mistake that these young men do is that they put it on the back end and wait till their careers are over. And by then, sometimes it's too late.
The thing that really stood out for me, and I appreciate you sharing that, when we met, the thing that really stood out for me was the humility that you approached me with. And when you started talking about your clients, specifically at the time, your client that was on the Eagles, you always talked about pushing the importance of being accountable in serving underserved communities. And so that was where you and I really connected, when it was, you've been in the industry, but you're not an industry guy.
Exactly.
Because you have integrity, you have humility, and you really are pushing with your clients the importance of being accountable to the community. And so that for me, when I look at, I've spoken with and worked with so many different PR companies. Some may be similar to what you do at the Brand Architects, but the difference, I think, that makes what you do rise to the top is the fact that you remain humble in the process and you actually care about your clients, and it's bigger than just them cutting a check.
Exactly. Yeah, it proves accountability, not just for the community, but to themselves. Mm-hmm. Half of our clientele are retired. And you got to look at it like this. A lot of times, a lot of these young men, you got to figure they've been focused and just told to just focus on sports since they were 12. Your dream is to go to the NFL. Okay, great. Just focus on that. Developing as an athlete, but they don't get to develop as men. There's a difference. Okay. And the way you leave a legacy and how you really leave a lasting impression on people, you catch a touchdown on Sunday, but by Tuesday, real life sets in on people. They don't forgot about that. Okay. It's how you can utilize the blessings that you have to help create a legacy where people will love you. I tell them all the time, like, okay, when you make an impact in the community, people will love you even more because guess what? Now they have a personal connection with you. Whereas the Eagles player that we're referring to goes to another team, guess what? They're still going to be fans of him. They're going to follow him. They're going to, it's like, I call it the LeBron James effect. Okay. I can't stand the Lakers. I'm from Jersey. I'm a Knicks fan. I can't stand, but I'm a LeBron James fan. So whatever he goes, you know what? I hope they do well. It's the same thing. When you take time to invest in, it's like in anything. If you take time to invest in someone and help with the development, they'll come back and support you too. And it can help you on the business side as well too, because when it comes to endorsements, sponsorships, corporations look at this stuff. They look at it because like, okay, how much of an influence do you have on your base that aren't sports fans? Okay, think about it. Not everybody's a football fan. Not everybody's a basketball fan. But when you go out in the community and you're consistent, see, that's the thing. Not one-offs. You got a lot of athletes out here. They'll do one thing a year or two. You remember, Sam, like I was always calling you like, hey, guess what? We got this. It was weekly almost, bi-weekly. And I'm like, okay. And that individual and I'll just say his name, Rodney McLeod, he's reaped the rewards of being such a great philanthropist. And he's entering his 12th year in the league. Because teams actually see the value in him as an individual, as a person, as a man, not just an athlete.
Wow, man, that's powerful. That is powerful. So what would you say, for that young man, young woman that's watching and listening right now, that have aspirations of being entrepreneurs? They might want to get into the field of PR, marketing, branding. What advice would you offer to them?
I say go for it, first off. Like, and even if you're an athlete, like, not everybody's going to make it to the league, but you may still love sports. There's a lot of opportunities behind the scenes, especially for young Black men and women, that we've been so taught just to work on the athlete side. They don't realize the opportunities and career paths on the back end that are there for them. So, when I tell all my guys, listen, if you're going to do PR, if you're going to do branding for athletes, you have to be for athletes. See what I mean? There's a difference. You have the industry. The industry is about the industry. Like, I'll just be honest with you. Agents and all those guys, they're for the industry. A lot of them aren't for the athletes. We're for the athletes. I take pride in that because, you're coming into a realm where they're evaluated just by their athletic performances. But imagine being in a career, something that you invested 20 years of your life, and by the time you're 30, they're telling you, no, thank you, you're good. You're too old. At 30 years old.
Wow.
At 30 years old, you're considered too old. And I'm like, dude, you're a baby in real life. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them get caught with identity crisis. And see, that's one thing we pride ourselves in preventing. We're trying to prevent you going through an identity crisis. So when teams stop calling, when your agent stops calling you, when all these people stop calling you because you're no longer an athlete, you still see value in yourself. You still have something to wake up in the morning to look forward to. Okay. It could be, like I said, whatever it is you want to do outside of sports when it's done, like, okay, you have something to motivate yourself up during the day. You have a lot of guys now, they're going through depression. They're going through, you see it. I mean, you got players, you have at least 10 players committing suicide a year, former players. And they try to blame a lot of it on CTE, but they don't factor in the emotional trigger that sets the CTE into motion. And a lot of that is identity crisis.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine, you've been hot for so long as a star athlete. And then once that fizzles out, it's like, all right, how do I transition? What do I do? And you're right. If they haven't planned for what's next, the transition, I'm sure that it could be difficult.
It's very difficult. And it has nothing to do with money. Oh, I've been saving money. Mm-hmm. That sometimes is the root of all evil. They have so much money and they just out there doing stuff that they give them a false sense of entitlement, but they don't realize, like I said, you know what, you're not that star athlete anymore. So all those people that were there to save you before are not going to be there.
Wow. Powerful. AC, did you have anything to chime in with, brother?
Yeah. So first of all, respect. I love everything that you're saying, and I applaud you for having the vision and seeing it through. Without having a background in the music industry, I became a financial advisor in 2008, largely to achieve the mission that you achieved, because I saw friends of mine who didn't really have the proper setup when they were going into entertainment or going into sports. Same thing, right? Sports entertainment.
Yep.
Going into it, and but it didn't really work out for me. Like I didn't last doing that, but you jumped in not as an FA, but as a brand architect and took it to an entirely different level. And I'm so excited for your client base and your future clients. And I think that what you're doing and what you've done thus far is absolutely amazing. So I just want to applaud you for that. And then I felt like there were several audio drops that I wanted to drop in while you were talking, but I didn't want to drop them in because you were talking. So I wanted to play industry executives are shady. I wanted to play. Did you say you worked on Shaq's project? Did that include You Can't Stop the Rain? So I'm just gonna do that then. I have to. I mean, this.
I got stories, man. I mean, I still got. Remember they used to call them the Stormtrooper Kobe's.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know how much those things are going for now?
The Adidas.
Yes.
Man, I got a bunch of them. I still got a bunch of them things in my closet. Like I remember because they gave us all the sneakers.
I'll call you later.
I'm sure you will.
Give me my shipping address.
But you know what?
Yes.
They were groundbreakers. They were like, okay, you know what? I respect Shaq. I respect Kobe because they realized, like, you know what? I have leverage here. You know, I could use this to help amplify and benefit me away from the field.
Right.
And it's the same with Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Akon, all of these guys I worked with. You know, they realized like, they saw the value in their fan base, but they realized that you control the narrative. And now it's so much different now with social media. I mean, social media and technology is just taking it to another level where I really emphasize to I was on the phone with a client last night and I really dug into him. Like I pride myself on telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Yeah. I've cursed clients out. I don't care because I do care. You see what I mean? There's a difference. You know, like a lot of these athletes, I'm gonna be honest, have had their asses kissed and always told what they want to hear to pacify them along, while other people are just getting their cut while they're making money. But once them team checks stop coming in, guess what? Now what? Those people are gone. You have to set that in motion while you have while you're at the highest plateau of your relevancy. And that's playing. But a lot of agents and all these other people, they just want them, hey, no, just focus on training. You got to worry about this because they get a percentage of that. That's why they only worried about that. When you're 35 and you're no longer playing, I could put half of my clients on here. They'll tell you, like, dude, I haven't spoken to my agent in 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, that tells you it all. That tells you it all right there.
So what I love is that we saw Magic Johnson capitalize on his aura, his personality.
Yeah. He was the first, pretty much one of the first.
Right, his image and take it to branding, right? And not as much. He didn't capitalize as much while playing, but then he took it and ran with it when he was done. And then you had people who were like, Michael Jordan, you said Kobe, LeBron James, Shaquille, other people. I'm not naming everyone, but like, yo, let's capitalize on this now. Allen Iverson, let's jump into this now. And they have, sometimes they had the right people with them and their best interest was held. Other times they didn't have the right people, like even Kareem, because Kareem was before Magic, and Kareem got hurt trying to diversify.
Yeah, burned, right?
But
Jim Brown, bro. Jim Brown left at his prime to go be an actor.
Yeah, so Jim, he's
Jim Brown was really the first one.
Right, he's the pioneer.
He's the pioneer.
So for you to step in, your organization to step in and say, yes, so here's the idea, but also let me help you with the blueprint. Let me help you traverse these mountains. Let me help you get through these waters. I just think it was very necessary, is very necessary, and is pretty amazing. So
AC, you'll be surprised how many people don't even talk to them about that stuff. Like, it's like, okay, you'd be surprised how just having conversations with these young men that's non-sports related. Okay, yeah, they got their homies, they got their boys that are young knuckleheads. That, that's not the constructive conversations. Like having that deep thought conversations, talking to them and as men, not even talking about sports. Like, okay, so I'm gonna just put John Doe. So, hey, listen, what have you done today in regards to, your cooking skills? You say you love to cook. What did you do today? Okay, did you try a new dish? Did you post that? Did you, like, even just having these conversations, talking to these young men, like, okay, you know what? What do you like to do besides playing sports? You'll be surprised. Some guys, they be like, they have a hard time answering that, not realizing that there are things. It could be video games. Okay, yeah, I like to play video games. Well, you know what? There's money to be made on Twitch. You playing video games, getting into video game development. I'm like, you got 6-figure jobs out there, people playing video game development. Instead of you just sitting on there wasting time with your boys, farting around. No, let's take it on a more professional level. You're still doing something that you love, but you're transitioning into people, a lot of them don't have people around them to even kind of be that creative thought pattern for them. Because they've been trained so much. They've been told what time to get up, what to eat, where to go, this, as an athlete, that they basically have been brainwashed. Our job is to deprogram them. Now, I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. Not everybody gets it. And I don't need to work with those guys. I'm sorry. Like, I'm here to help you, but I'm here to help you be a responsible individual for yourself, not for the organization. See, there's a difference. Because the organization will let you go. It's going to happen. People say the NFL stands for not for long. It also stands for no effing loyalty.
Yeah.
So you expect them to be loyal to you. No, you got to be loyal to yourself. And you got to have people that are loyal to you as a person, not sports. I tell everybody, every successful athlete, he has his sports guy, his sports team, but you got to have your team that does not care about sports. They care about your 501c3. They care about, you want to open a restaurant, whatever it is, developing your identity with your brand. Because when you develop that, guess what? You got potential partners. You got this, you got that. You have to put it out to the world for people to see that, okay, yeah, he's more than just an athlete. Athletes are disposable. It's as simple as that.
Wow. Yeah, that's the common thread with your guys, because I look at the clients that you've had over the years and all the things that they're doing, and so much of it is about life, and not about per se sports, not about football.
Podcast.
Even the doctor, what's Doc's name?
Dr.
In Philly.
Dr. Kaplan.
Dr. Kaplan, with all his philanthropic work that he's doing, yes, you were able to tie it around the exotic cars, but that was just to draw in people so that you can do so much more in the community. So, man, kudos to you, brother. I want to make sure that we give you your flowers. And you know what you mean to me. You know the difference you've made in my life, brother. And I commend you for everything you're doing.
I commend you because Sam, and I got to give you your flowers, because not a lot of people in the media,
Trilogy.
SG Trilogy, they don't highlight the good that these young men do. It's not a priority to them. But God forbid when they get in trouble, it's front page news. So no, I salute you, because we need more brothers like you in your position that want to show this side of athletes, to show the human side. Show all of the good that they're doing, because trust me, if they do something bad, then everybody wants a piece of it.
Right. Of course. Yeah. Of course. Yep.
Yep.
All right, brother. Well, thank you, man. As I said, we appreciate you getting up on this. Well, it's not that early where you are.
Yeah, no, it's almost midday.
We have a saying around these parts, man, that Saturdays are always better when you connect with the Collective Podcast. And you've really made this a meaningful episode, joining us for EP 121. And make sure you share it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll put up how you can get in contact with us. You know how to get in contact with us. And when you send out those cases, those Kobe's, we'll be more than happy, because you already said you're going to do it. So thank you. We had nothing but love for you, bro.
Always.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Thanks.
All right, man. We'll be in touch.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.
All right. So you said it. You want to let them know how they can contact us. So go ahead, Sam.
Yes, indeed.
Wait. This is another drop that I have. This was a layup, and I gotta be under 7 seconds, because you know they like to block us.
Yes.
Everyone cools off of being hot. It's about if you can handle being cold or not.
I mean, that part right there, so relevant to that discussion with Anton. You're going to be let go by the organization at some point, but it's about your branding, what happens afterward, right? All right, Sam, how can they contact us?
It is imperative that we stay connected, folks. Here, my mom's is here. Hey, Mom, good morning.
Good morning.
Here at the Collective Podcast, we're big on building community. We're big on remaining connected as a collective. You can reach us and check out our website, thecollectivepodcastofficial.com. On YouTube, our official YouTube channel, we are TC Pod Official. On Facebook, we are TC Podcast Official. On Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter, X, we're TC Pod Official. Instagram, TC Pod Official. His personal Instagram is AC from LA. And yours truly, my personal Instagram is SG Trilogy. Please tap in with us. Let's stay connected. We're back, man.
We're
We
back.
are
We're
back.
back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're so back. And guess
Yes.
what? I have this in the way that you wanted it. So here you go. Wait, where'd it go? Come on.
He ain't just when it's convenient.
It's exactly as you requested it.
What I said. People scream loyalty.
I promise.
But if he didn't give you that bag, he didn't create that opportunity, would you still be loyal to him? You probably wouldn't. You know what I mean? But it's convenient for you at that time to do so you're gonna play your part and play the position. I'm just looking to connect with motherfuckers that's
no! It says it's the edited version, Sam. Oh my goodness. I'm just rocking it with confidence. Anyway, I'm sorry. All right, I don't know. Okay. Good morning to Sam's mom. Good morning to all of you. Or if you're in Marrakesh, like my sister Danielle, then it is good afternoon because she is 8 hours ahead of me and 6 hours ahead of Sam. So it is 4:31 p.m. in that part of the world. So shout out to everybody for coming through. Here are our topics for today, Sam. We obviously already had brother Anton Barnes and the brand architects. We're gonna go into the league, baseball. We might talk about college football. We might not have time, but I know Sam wants to talk about Michigan, so we might talk about that a little bit. Hey, we can just do the culture now. I'll just do the culture now. Hey, listen. I'm just gonna skip ahead. Brandy is dropping a Christmas album, and it's called Christmas with Brandy. Listen. Actually, no, we're gonna circle back because I got to share something about Kayla. But Brandy is dropping a Christmas album. I cannot be more excited about that. Shout out to Brandy, my favorite artist of all time. Shout out to Brandy. All right, so those are our topics for today. Let's get right into the WNBA. And I know that you guys have watched and you've listened, and you know that by and large, Sam likes equity. Sam likes parity. Sam wants there to be competition. And when it comes to certain situations, I like monopolies. I like dominance. I like the Las Vegas.
You like to rule with the iron fist. That's what you're saying.
With an iron fist. I mean, you can show an opening, but I like the Las Vegas Aces to just step on necks, step on people, crush their faces, especially when
protect your neck,
or don't. And then like when you have two different entities that are so disrespectful. So you have the AP Player of the Year, which was not Asia Wilson. It was Breanna Stewart. And on the one hand, you say, well, that's the media. Well, yeah. I mean, and I still am a member of the media. I don't participate as much. And then Sam's a member of the media. But these are people who are supposedly covering the WNBA. And when they vote for Breanna Stewart to be the MVP, the AP Player of the Year, I'm confused. So then when you get to the league vote, and she being Asia, as Sam would say, anybody can get it, Wilson. And she doesn't even come in, she doesn't win. She doesn't come in second. She comes in third and doesn't even get a vote from every voter, or a top 3 vote from every voter. It's just blasphemy. So when she can come in and have the dominant performance that she did in the WNBA finals, the finals that the Aces won 3-1, by the way, I'm happy, and I don't care about parity. But Sam, what's your takeaway from the WNBA finals of 2023?
All right, so first and foremost, my favorite coach for this season, throughout the season, has been who?
Becky Hammond. Let me put her picture
There we go.
back.
So shout out to Coach Hammond. But as it pertains to Asia, anybody can get it, Wilson.
Hey!
To wrap up the series with 24 points, 16 boards, and a block, that was her ultimate mic drop to say, give me what's mine. I'll take these buckets. I'll take these boards. And yes, I'll take this trophy. So shout out to the Aces. I'm happy to see that now these ladies can ride off into the sunset, enjoy a little downtime before a lot of them transition to playing overseas
Yeah.
while they're out of season. So kudos to the Aces. They pulled it out. It was a close game 4. They
Yeah.
pulled it out by a point, 70-69 over the New York Liberty. And yeah, man. I know you've been going hard for the Aces all season. So you're elated, you're overcome with joy. And it's funny, this final game was the only game that was close out of the series, which is pretty interesting because everything else was like ante up, beatdown mode. But yeah, man, congratulations to the Aces.
And it was the only game that was a close of all the games that they played this season. Those two
Right.
teams. And so I would be remiss if I didn't mention how they did it. So they won the first 2 games at home. They lost game 3 in New York. And then, wait a minute, Chelsea Gray was injured during game 3. And then at the next practice, Kia Stokes was injured. So you had 5 starters in game 3 that started several games in a row. Like once Candace Parker went down right before the All-Star break, Kia Stokes was inserted into the starting lineup. And so for the whole second half of the season and the playoffs, this is their starting 5. And so they lost 2 starters going into game 4. And that's the first time that happened in WNBA history, where you lose 2 starters from one game to another in the finals. 2 starters, including their starting center and their starting point guard, their floor general. Last year's WNBA Finals MVP, Chelsea Gray. So insert Alicia and Clark, Alicia Clark, who they call AC. And the floor was okay. They had a lot of turnovers in the first quarter. Like, it looked ugly, and they were down by 10, and they grinded it. They grinded, not that they didn't ground. They grinded and grinded and grinded, and they pulled it out, and it was lovely. And Dawn Staley was there, and Dawn Staley was talking her talk, and okay,
rocking her Phillies fitted.
she did have a Phillies fitted because she is Philly to the death, Philly
through and through.
Through and through. Listen, what I'm confused about, though, and I guess I'm not confused because this is all generational, they're so disrespectful to people. So I get all the Chelsea. No.
What?
No.
What are you talking?
I'm about to tell you. I get all the whole point guard thing for, point guard for Chelsea Gray, and then point guard for the crybaby Chris Paul. I get it. But Dawn Staley is sitting there, and you talking about greatest point guards in the world. Like, you're not, like, they were talking about Dawn Staley is literally the second greatest point guard that ever lived behind Magic Johnson. Period.
Yeah.
And in the discussion, and it wasn't really a discussion, it was like an offhand comment, but it was like Becky Hammond, Andy Brondell, like, okay, like, let's listen. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Dawn Staley is right there. Okay. There. I've said it. All right. WNBA. Shout out to the Aces. Did the White House happen to congratulate them yet? No, it's not the time. It's not the time. There's a lot going on in the world, so it's not the time for the White House to congratulate the Aces. But the next time,
will they invite the Liberty and the Aces? Or I'm asking for a friend.
They better not. Well, they probably invite Breanna Stewart for getting the double down of the AP Player of the Year and the WNBA MVP. But we used to have a milk carton for my boy Trey when he was missing from the podcast. And I'm trying to see if there's a milk carton for Breanna Stewart because, boy, in the finals, I mean, we still can't find her. I mean, so many people learned how to pronounce the name Jonquel because, how you say Laney's first name? Is it Benaya? Benija?
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was Benaya. Yeah.
They learned how to say Jonquel and Benija because Breanna was MIA. So,
Well, you can't say, okay, She
You can't?
underperformed. She
She's the MVP.
underperformed.
First of all, I can say what I want. Second of all, she's the
No.
MVP and the WNBA Player of the Year. She made 3 shots she made 3 shots in game 4. Defend it.
She
Defend it.
underperformed, but
Defend it.
she's still perhaps she had so much on her, carrying that MVP trophy was so heavy on her
Was she the 5th
shoulders.
best player in her lineup? Come on, dog. What are we doing?
Uh,
Talk to me. Just I'm listening. Talk to me. So
man, she
wasn't
had
missing.
10 points and 14 boards, man. She
you're
was
right.
gassed, but she was
You're right.
gassed.
14 boards is not nothing. Like, that's still big time. You're right. I think that what I'm thinking more about is the 3 of 14 from the field.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
By the way, I didn't mention Kayla George, who was the other starter for the Aces. I need to mention her. She took the most shots on the team.
Yeah.
And she was hitting threes. But at one point,
I'm getting mine.
Because this is what I do internationally. Like, y'all just heard of me, but I have
y'all must have forgot.
I have championships.
Right.
In Australia, as they would say. Sandy Brondello's her coach. her coach in Australia. All right. Shout out to the Aces. Shout out to the Collective Podcast.
New Collective Podcast.
Oh boy, I'm having fun with this stuff. All right. So next up on the docket, we can rock it. NFL. All right. This was a tough week for undefeated teams in the NFL. There were 2, now there are 0. First up, my San Francisco 49ers fell to the Cleveland Browns. It was one of those situations where it wasn't as easy as every other game had been this season and all the regular season games to end the season once Brock Purdy took over. And with all of that, like, our defense still showed up, but the Cleveland defense showed up too. All of that, we high-fiving, laughing, when we take the knee, set up for the game-winning field goal. 5-0 to 5-1. So the 49ers fell. It immediately became a downer for the rest of my day. And then I had a guy. See, everybody has a guy, right? I was working lacrosse. I had a guy who, I don't know, I guess he thought we were friends, or he thinks we're friends. I'm really confused because we literally don't talk at all. And I actually don't like him. I don't let that affect how I deal with him, but I actually don't like him because of some behavioral issues that I've had with him in the past. So the thing that was kind of weird to me is he knew that. Not sure I understand. I don't know why Siri does it. He knew that I'd been looking at the game on my phone because he looked at my phone and was like, "Are you a Browns fan or a 49ers fan?" And I said 49ers. So that was that. And then hours later, after the game was over, I'm walking to my car and he's like, "Tough day for the 49ers, huh? Tough day for the 49ers." And I don't see him. I just hear him. And my partner is like, "Why is he saying tough day for assigners?" And I said, "No, he said tough day for the Niners." And so my associate started laughing. My associate, who, by the way, doesn't have a team, but who is just a big gambler. So he was laughing because he knows that I don't like the guy. And the guy is talking about the 49ers like we're friends. Now, Sam sent me a text that said tough loss. And I know that Sam wasn't being facetious, but I also didn't want to talk to Sam. So I didn't respond to Sam. But I appreciate the sentiment. But yeah, I know it's a tough loss. I don't really need that. And that doesn't help me. But I didn't have a problem with Sam sending it. I just didn't respond. This guy talking to me? Why are you talking to me? We're not friends. And like, I don't talk mess about people's teams. So I don't receive people talking about my team to me. I don't open the door for that. And then we've never even had a laugh together. So that was just weird. Anyway, luckily.
But you have to look at it this way also.
Tell me how I have to look at it.
Anytime your team is a top tier team, you have a target from every single team, or you have a target for even those that do not have a team. It's kind of like when the Lakers were playing at their optimal level. it's you being a Laker fan against every team in the league because those teams hadn't experienced the history, the illustrious history that the Lakers had. So everyone says, the fake show, oh, they lost to the Clippers or whatever. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. One loss is not going to derail your season.
Right.
Aha. And
So
it's actually probably best that they did take a L so that they can regroup, get their minds right, and be back where they were before they took the L.
Okay, so I receive all that. I don't know that it was best, but okay, I receive that. I do receive that. And you bring up a great point. Shout out to Antonio Kinji, DJ Dents. That being said, I'm still waiting for the Clippers to win one, right? Have they won one since you brought them up? They haven't won one.
No, but we've seen Lob City and all that. So I guess that was their championship.
What's that?
Yeah.
Is it?
Who knows?
Was Chris Paul part of that?
Your guy.
Right, baby. He's still searching. Oh, but now he might get one. Now he can't. He's on his 7th team in California, so he might finally. I'm just kidding about that. He might finally get one. And at this point, I have no problem with it because I like all of his teammates, even though I don't like him. And so, that being said, and it was funny when Anton mentioned he doesn't like the Lakers and he likes LeBron because it's the opposite for me in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I like LeBron outside of basketball. Let's be clear. LeBron is great for athletes. LeBron is great for philanthropy. LeBron is great for setting an example for a lot of things. I don't like LeBron in basketball. I just want to be clear. Like it's only basketball where I don't like the guy. So, but it's the opposite of how Anton feels. And it's also interesting because one of my former podcasters, Mike Tillery, who I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out for one of the things that Anton was talking about you, about being someone who it's important to bring the positive side of the athletes, the positive side of the positive people that a lot of times we don't see. That was always my mission as a journalist. That's always been big for Scoop Jackson. And then one of the reasons why I brought Mike Tillery on board when I was a sports editor and gave him the Philadelphia Sixers games and the Philadelphia Eagles games was because of what I knew he wanted to do, what he professed he wanted to do. And so I was able to give him a bit of a platform, and he ran with it. He's a positive guy for our athletes and entertainers. Also, if not a little blinded by LeBron. So that being said, that's it. So also on that day, the Philadelphia Eagles, who we just spoke about, dropped one. Now, they didn't miss a field goal at the end of the game that was essentially a chip shot that should have been made. They just lost. So, but they fell from the ranks of the unbeaten also. And so, tough day, 49ers and Eagles. But here are our power rankings.
And with the Eagles,
go ahead.
The Eagles loss for me was more of I knew it was coming because the Eagles had been having some really close calls, and they haven't looked as dominant as last season. So I wasn't really surprised when the Eagles lost. I was more surprised with you guys or with the Niners. I wasn't surprised with the Eagles.
You could say you guys. I mean, they knew who you were talking about.
Well, for those that might be listening that don't know who you guys are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys. 49. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So the Chiefs moved up from 3 to 2. The Dolphins moved up from 4 to 3. By the way, 2 was Philly. So Philly dropped a couple from 2 to 4. Detroit stood fast at 5. Like Detroit is here, y'all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, serious.
Yeah, the Buffalo Bills, following that Jacksonville
Bills
loss,
Mafia,
righted the ship. And they stood fast at 6. The Cowboys, okay, let's get into it. Cowboys stood fast at 7, but however, Micah Parsons feels that the Cowboys are being treated unfairly by the world at large and by the media. Do you have thoughts on that, Samuel?
Okay, so when you put on that jersey and when you are a member of what was deemed America's team, and when we have all that we them boys, and when we first game of preseason have Super Bowl,
New
our
Collective
sights on the
Podcast.
Super Bowl or bust. I think that's par for the course. It comes with the territory. So you can't want you can't want the benefit of being a member of that, which was an illustrious organization, but yet when fans are critical of your play, you got to take both sides. When you're winning, woo, Cowboys are going to do it all. When you're losing, yes, your fans are going to be critical. You have one of the largest, if not the largest, fan base in professional football. So, par for the course, brother. Eat some humble pie, practice, and come out and perform. That's what it's all about. It's about dubs. It's not about anything else. Dubs are all that matter.
There it is. And I'll say this. The one thing that he said that I do agree with. Now I agree with everything that Sam just said. One thing that Michael Parsons said that I do agree with is let's not get personal with people. Let's not get personal with Dak Prescott and start talking about his family and I know that and this is the problem with fans at large. They feel like they can say anything that they want on social media because they kind of can. And I just wish there was more accountability there because when you're talking about someone's personal life, to me, that's not okay. Let's not talk about what kind of person Dak Prescott is at home and call him names. And, because we've seen that, especially, they take a lot of liberties when it comes to the black athletes and entertainers. And it's been that way since the way back. And that is not okay. So that's the one place that I do agree with the gentleman, but that's not about the Cowboys. That's about
Fans in general. And even like, I commend you for this. You have publicly expressed the fact that you're not a LeBron James basketball fan, but you're not hurling insults and you're not disrespectful. There was a journalist who, I'm not going to even mention his name, but yesterday he was on Twitter or X and he was talking about Caleb Williams from USC.
mhm,
Young man, he's one of the premier quarterbacks in college football. And he talked about him as, oh, he's so arrogant. How could he? Because a backstory is, um, it's been in the news cycle that Caleb Williams is asking or hoping that whatever team drafts him in the NFL, that he can have a part ownership stake. And so
right,
that's been out in the news cycle. And so there's a sports journalist, who's saying, oh, he's so arrogant. How could he ask for that? If you don't ask, you'll never know. So
right.
why does he have to be arrogant because he's betting on himself? And so that's where I have a problem when you get, these Monday morning quarterbacks that will hurl out, oh, this person is a bum. This person sucks. This person's this person's that. You cannot care for a person in their respective field and still be respectful. And so I think if respect is paramount, yes, you can be critical. You can say, well, why did they, why did this play happen when clearly this other play could have happened? But be respectful in what you do. So I think that's so important, man, because all the insults, man, why are you going to talk about a player's family? Like, that's asinine.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right, so rounding it out, we had Cleveland who beat us and moved up. So shout out to them. They looked really, really good. And then Baltimore at 9 and Jacksonville at 10. And since the power rankings, Jacksonville won again. So Jacksonville is trying to do things to y'all. All right, cool. Glad I'm not in the AFC. No, I don't care. Listen, San Francisco, anybody can get it 49ers. Like, what's up? We got Minnesota this week on Monday Night Football. I'm not tripping. Sam, you guys had a primetime game. You want to talk about it?
Man, yeah, the my team, most of you know by now. I've been rocking with these guys ever since I can remember. The Raiders.
New SG
Yes,
trilogy.
you'll say, but from what city? Yes, they were in Oakland. They moved to LA when I was a kid. I really got involved when they're in LA, back to Oakland, then Vegas. So any city, I'm
Which
still
state is
rocking
Vegas
with the
in?
Raiders.
Which state is
See,
Vegas
there
in?
you go. There you can see that
Come on,
this is what we do here. This is what we do, folks. This is what we have. This is the
Oh,
banter
shout out
that
to the
we
Raiders.
have.
Shout out to the Raiders.
And someone tries to get my blood pressure up, but I'm
New
not falling for
SG
the okey-doke.
trilogy.
This guy. So, my Raiders, I was happy to see them beat the Patriots, but the Patriots are not the Patriots of yesteryear. And so, I was wishing that the Patriots would be a bit more of a competitive team, but we were able to squeak through and beat them by 4. And now I want to see us this week, the Raiders take down the Bears. And the Bears have been struggling. So hopefully this will not be a game where the Bears come out and do what they need to do to beat the Raiders. So let's go, Raiders. Let's keep the momentum going. You're 3-3 right now. Let's get above 500.
Hey, good luck with that. And I think the last time the Bears won was when they beat us week 1 last year. The Bears are terrible. But like you said, you don't want them to have their breakout game against the Raiders. So
No.
especially for Mark Davis coming off the Aces WNBA championship. Let's keep the momentum going for Mark Davis and
we should have queued up the dancing video of Mark Davis. He was getting busy.
And Sam's squad. Yeah, I mean, So, and you guys are playing the Bears, right?
The Bears.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What else we got for the NFL? Anything else important on top? On tap.
Yeah,
talk
man.
About Dolphins, Eagles.
Yeah, the Dolphins. The Dolphins are exciting, man, because they are so fast. They're having so much fun. And so I'm not a Dolphins fan by any means, but they have some track stars that can get to the outside and turn it up the field. So the Dolphins are exciting. And the Eagles better bring their A game because they could be in for back-to-back L's if they don't.
Okay. Well, here's your guy, brother.
There he is. Get busy, Mark. Mark is getting busy.
The exploitation of billionaires. My goodness.
There it is. Let's go. I'm all for that.
I'm all for that. All right.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to Dolphins, Eagles, but then also Lions, Ravens. I'm looking forward to that game as well.
Tell us more. Tell us why you're looking forward to Lions, Ravens, Sam.
Brother. Well, as you said, when was the last time we saw a Lions team that was really competitive by week 7? I'm saying usually their season is already toast.
Right.
So it's week 7. The Lions have only lost 1 game. And then anytime you have a game featuring Lamar Jackson, come on, bro. He's going to do something exciting at some point.
Yeah, so we either have to go all the way back to Wayne Fonts and Barry Sanders, or did Calvin Johnson sniff the playoff? Did he get close to the playoffs? I don't even remember, but it's been a long time. It's been a long time. So, and then what we're talking about is this is another top 10 matchup for the power rankings. Detroit is 5. Mm-hmm. Detroit can lose and still be in the top 10. Just throwing that out there. 5 versus 9. Baltimore's 9. And then we have the Miami Philly, which is 3 versus 4. So yeah, 2 really big matchups coming in this week. So yeah, if you wanted to know which football game to tune into, then there you go.
There you go.
Okay? All right. So you updated Major League Baseball? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Is that what happened? Wow. Tell us about Man.
Yeah,
Give us the update because I
man.
stopped
All right.
watching after Mookie went home.
Okay, so we'll kick things off with the American League Championship Series, in which you have the Texas Rangers against their in-state rival, Houston cheating Astros. Yeah, Houston cheating Astros. And Texas
New
Rangers
Collective Podcast.
were a wild card team that has gone above and beyond, and they've shocked the world. And even in this ALCS, they were up 2-0 over the Astros. But lo and behold, in Houston Astros favor, they've won the last 3 consecutive games, taking a commanding lead in that series of 3-2. Last evening, they played in Arlington at Globe Life Field, and now that series returns to Minute Maid. I believe they play at Minute Maid in Houston. And that game is tomorrow, in which the Astros could conceivably win the ALCS and prepare for yet another World Series. The only highlight in the Astros winning anything, of course, is their manager, Dusty Baker, who is a national treasure in my eyes. He's someone who I've always supported, who I want to see win as an African-American manager and as someone that just has, stones. He doesn't hold his words. He says what's on his mind, and he leads men. So I commend Dusty Baker, but by no means do I want to see the Astros, win, especially after the disrespect they had for the Dodgers a few seasons ago. Now let's transition over to the NLCS, in which you have the Philadelphia Phillies against the Arizona Diamondbacks. That series is tied at 2 games apiece. And 2 games apiece. And I thought the Phillies were going to run away with it, but the Diamondbacks have showed that they'll strike when they can, and they're ready. They're in this. So I don't know which direction this series is going to move in. I would think the Phillies, and with me living in the Philadelphia area for so many years, I'm leaning towards the Phillies winning that series, but we shall see.
All right. Well, definitely appreciate that. And, I don't know. Arizona put the Dodgers out. And so, sometimes you want the team. Sometimes you have 2 schools of thought. One school is the team that beat you want them to crash and burn. And then on the other hand, you want to say that you were eliminated by the ultimate best team. But actually, I don't even care. So I just want to go back to Dusty Baker. So
AC from LA.
when we talk about, I was a Dodger fan early in my life, and then when they let Dusty Baker go, I was like, eh. And so for years and years, I didn't have a team. I just celebrated players. And kind of going back to that branding thing that Anton was talking about, I just followed players, and that's how I wound up a Red Sox fan for 23 years, because I was a really big fan of Pedro Martinez. But yeah, when Dusty Baker left the Dodgers, I left. And so when Sam talks about Dusty being a national treasure, abso-freaking-lutely. And so that he is the reason that I was content with who won the World Series last year, because Dusty Baker finally got one. And then, he's really, outside of Dave Roberts, he's the only manager that I care about. Just the 2 of them, right? So just saying that. All right. So, yeah, I don't know how that series is going to turn out either. I'm going with what Sam said. You probably couldn't say it any better than that. And, shout out to Sam. Sometimes he says things that you can't say.
New SG Trilogy.
That's why he is.
Hey, look. And Dusty Baker reminds you of your uncle. He's in the dugout with a toothpick in his mouth, man. That's a real player right there.
Yeah. With a wristband, with a wristband on. So it really takes you back to those days.
That's old school.
Yeah. So top 25, lots of undefeated teams still there. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington. Wow. The Huskies, they're trying to return to the days of 1991 when my man Lamar Lyons was there, when they won back to back. One of them they split with the U.
The U.
Yeah. So Michigan under fire for sign stealing in there's no sign stealing in football. I mean, so there's that. Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oklahoma, Penn State, Texas, Oregon, North Carolina. So Pac-12 still got 2 teams up there in the top 10 overall, 3 in the top 12. And then boy, that Southern Cal, that USC drubbing last week really impacted them. You know, you spoke of Caleb Williams earlier, and a lot of people had the parade planned for SC, and now they've dropped down to number 18 in the country. What stands out for you with this top 25 this week, Sam?
So I think what stands out for me, man, and what's even like the biggest game for today, what stands out for me, well, let's see. In terms of what stands out for me is the fact that for weeks we had so many Pac-12 teams that were in the top 25. And so now you see the fall off where, you know, things have gotten kind of difficult. But the games that, for me, the most notable games of today, you got the battle of 2 undefeateds, man, where you have number 7 Penn State against number 3 Ohio State. So I'm looking forward to that. Tennessee, number 17 Tennessee against Bama. Both of those teams have only lost 1 game this season. Number 16 Duke, which I always kind of laugh when I see like, oh, wow, Duke actually has a real football team. So number 16 Duke, who's only lost 1 game, against undefeated Florida State, who's ranked number 4. As you mentioned, number 18 USC, they're playing number 14 Utah. Both teams have experienced 1 loss. And although we don't say too much about it, we're not talking FBS, but I'm going to go over to little black college football, man. We have Norfolk State, Norfolk State Spartans, which are being hosted by the Howard University Bison for homecoming. So shout out to HU. Shout out to HU, the Bison. May they enjoy homecoming. I have a lot of family and friends. My little sister, shout out to Shari, who's a graduate, a proud alumni of Howard University. So shout out to my HBCU crew.
So yeah, shout out to HU. Some would say the real HU, and some from the other HU would say it's not the real HU. And then there's that battle between Howard and Hampton, and then the Howard people would say, well, you started off as an institute, so you were really HI. And then the battle would go on and on. But a really good friend of mine, Lance Carter, dad had the first Division I lacrosse program in an HBCU, and just happened to be at Howard. So shout out to Lance Carter and his pops, and HU. Shout out to my ex, you know who you are, who went to Hampton, who also says HU. And then the Ghost of Podcast Pass went to Howard University. So shout out to Rod. Why not?
The Sauce Man, yes.
Yeah.
And my sister's my trusted HU expert because her freshman year she attended Hampton, and then she transferred to Howard where she graduated. So when I ask her the real HU, she says Howard. And there you go.
Well, okay. So listen. So shout out to Shari, but I don't know that that's super objective when you're gonna say wherever you finish. I mean, because like if we talk to Joanna Hayes, who is an Olympic gold medalist in the hurdles, she went to UCLA, right? So it's Go Bruins, but she's a coach at SC. So it's going to be fight on, and she's not going to say Go Bruins anymore. And all of her TikTok videos are in SC gear with her SC athletes. So it ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. It, like Rakim said.
In the ghetto.
So
nobody smiling.
Oh man. Okay. What else you guys say?
We connect, right? You know that. You can look the collective/connected podcast because we connect. No, that's good. That's good stuff. So a lot of good college football on deck for today.
So TCP, Sam just said the Collective Podcast, aka the Connected Podcast. You heard it here first. That's some dual branding there. So shout out to Sam. All right, so we touched on the culture. We touched on it, right? Oh, NBA. Damn it. All right, NBA. What you got?
And full disclosure, I don't really get too excited when it comes to preseason NBA. Like preseason NBA is like, okay, yeah, it's close but not close because we're in the thick of things with baseball right now. I will say, the number one draft pick, who's a member of the San Antonio Spurs, he appears. What do they call him? Wamba or something? He appears to be an anomaly because he is lanky. He looks like Ralph Sampson to me, but then his skill set is similar to that of a ball handling guard. So that's pretty interesting. I'd like to see how that's going to look for an 82 game season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen a few highlights here and there. Jordan Poole putting up some buckets in the nation's capital, but yeah, I'm not all hype yet or truly invested into preseason NBA. Unfortunately, not just yet.
Okay. Well, did you want to talk about the Philly market at all, or no?
Oh, that.
I mean, I was
So
opening the door.
so yes, so the saga continues with
New
the
Collective
James the
Podcast.
Beard Harden, Daryl Morey soap opera, in which James is saying, "If I don't get what I want, I'm going to take my ball and go home." And now he's taking on the moniker of being the invisible man, meaning he's not showing up. That it's, you know, we saw this coming. You know, we've poked fun, we've laughed throughout the summer with the back and forth that he's had, or with the public display of disdain. Man, that's a tongue twister. Public display of disdain that James
The
Harden
public
has.
display of despair. Oh, see, I messed it up.
Of disdain. There you go.
Disdain.
Yeah, the public display of disdain. We need to cut that audio and have that as a drop when we have a segment that talks
Let's do
about
it together.
disdain.
1, 2, 3. The public display
Of disdain. There we go. So James Harden is unhappy. A little backstory. He says pretty much that he had a handshake deal with the 76ers brass and that they were going to work on a sign and trade to get him out of there. And that hasn't happened. The interesting thing is he doesn't want to be there, and the fans in Philadelphia don't want him there. So there you have it. I don't know what's next, but one thing I do know is that we will continue to see and hear the drama unfold in real time right before our eyes due to the public display of disdain.
The public display of disdain. Wow.
Yes.
Shout out to The Beard for giving us such great content. I want to say this. For the record, going back to the NBA. I give Chris Paul a hard time, and I will continue to give Chris Paul a hard time just because it's easy to give Chris Paul a hard time. Like, he brings it on himself. However, the world is a better place for his State Farm commercials. I just want to be clear with that. I feel like the one with Sabrina Ionescu is kind of like her being a robot, and he still salvaged it because, you know, I don't know. That's all weird. But shout out to him overall, not basketball him. Although I did want basketball him to play with Kobe before the league vetoed it, kind of going back to when the league vetoed Juwan Howard going to the Miami Heat with Alonzo Mourning under Pat Riley. So it's like the league has done some things to the Lakers and Lakers adjacent that I didn't really like. And when I say adjacent, I'm talking about
R.I.P. to former Commissioner David Stern.
R.I.P. the former Commissioner David Stern. I have a picture with David Stern, but my mom sends that to me from time to time. She's like, "Who is this man you're in the picture with?" And it was 08 with David Stern at some center in East LA that the Lakers were dedicating along with the NBA. So yeah, I got some pictures there. even with Captain Anita Ortega, UCLA great. She was there. Delisha Milton was there. I remember that day. All right. So moving right along, we are the Collective Podcast.
New Collective
So we don't
Podcast.
really care about the NBA right now. The NBA does start next week, but we don't really care.
New
So
Collective Podcast.
once we get to it, oops, that's my mic. Once we get to it, we get to it. But for right now, there's other stuff going on. So the culture, this is really crazy. I just want to share this with you. Yesterday, Brandy dropped, well, not dropped. Brandy's pre-sale started for her Christmas album, Christmas with Brandy. And so I bought it, and then I was playing this song called The Roof, which is Mariah Carey and Brandy. And when Kayla heard me playing that, I mean, she clearly recognizes Brandy's voice, which warms my heart. And she said, Daddy, can you play He's Mine? And I was like, He's Mine? What song is that? And then she said the song where Brandy and the other woman are singing about the boy. And I was like, oh, the boy is mine. And she said, yeah, the boy is mine. Can you play that? So she wanted to hear The Boy Is Mine. And she was like dancing to it and stuff yesterday. And that just really touched me. So shout out to Brandy. Shout out to Monica. And The Boy Is Mine. Also, and Sam was going to get a chuckle out of this, the great Mariah the Scientist is dropping next week. And if you don't know who Mariah the Scientist is, then you really need to find out who Mariah the Scientist is. She is amazing. She is underrated. She is probably she could be the best of her generation. She's definitely one of the best of her generation. And she's just amazing. She writes, she arranges, she can sing in so many different keys. She's dope. This is her latest, called From a Woman. Anyway, so Mariah the Scientist drops next week. But then she's got one of the singles from the new project called From a Woman, and then another one called About Mine. All right. We've got Tech Talk Now coming up, Sam. Do you have anything before I jump into this?
No, man. Go ahead. Without further ado, let's get into Tech Talk Now.
What? Is it time? Let me see.
Man,
what?
Let's do it.
What?
You know, this segment really excites me. So yeah, dude, I want to hear what you're bringing. Yeah, come on, man. All things technology get me going. So let's have you get into a little tech talk now.
Oh, what time is it?
This is Tech Talk Now.
I'm having so much fun with this.
New AC from LA.
Okay, so I'm gonna get into it, y'all. I promise.
This is Tech Talk Now.
All right, so we're gonna talk about the metaverse. The metaverse, a digital frontier for sports and culture. Hello, tech enthusiasts, and welcome to another exciting episode of Tech Talk Now. I'm your host, AC from LA, from the Collective Podcast, and today we're diving deep into the digital frontier known as the metaverse and how it's reshaping the world of sports and culture. What is the metaverse? First, let's clarify what the metaverse is. Imagine a vast, interconnected digital universe where people can interact, socialize, work, and play in a virtual environment. It's more than just virtual reality. It's a convergence of augmented reality, VR, gaming, and social networking. Now let's talk about sports. The metaverse is revolutionizing the way we experience athletic events. From virtual stadiums that replicate the thrill of live sports to immersive fan experiences, the metaverse is creating a new dimension for sports enthusiasts. And it's not just about sports. The metaverse is also influencing the cultural landscape. So we talk about sports, culture, and lifestyle. That's the collective, right? Well, that's also the metaverse. Art exhibitions, music festivals, and theater performances are finding a new home in these digital realms. The metaverse is breaking down geographical barriers, allowing creators to reach global audiences like never before. One of the key drivers of the metaverse is non fungible tokens, or NFTs. These unique digital assets are transforming the way we buy, sell, and own digital content. And whether it's owning a virtual piece of art or a rare sport collectible, NFTs are redefining ownership in the digital age. Of course, with great ownership, with great innovation comes great responsibility. And that takes us to whom much is given, much is expected, that whole thing. So the metaverse, much has been given to you, so much is expected of you. The metaverse also raises important questions about privacy, security, and the potential for addiction. As we immerse ourselves in these digital worlds, we must address these challenges to ensure a safe and equitable metaverse. Back to talking about equity. Still talking about equity. Why can't it just be equitable? So, what does the future hold for the metaverse? We're just scratching the surface of its possibilities. From education and healthcare to social interaction and business collaboration, the metaverse is poised to reshape our lives in profound ways. And as we wrap up today's episode, remember that the metaverse is more than just a buzzword. It's a digital frontier where sports and culture collide, offering endless opportunities and challenges. We'll continue to explore this exciting topic on future episodes of Tech Talk Now. Thank you for joining us today, and stay tuned for more fascinating tech discussions. Until next time, keep exploring the digital frontier of the metaverse. Thank you, sir.
Encore.
This is Tech Talk
Yeah.
Now,
Tech Talk Now.
collective podcast.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, man.
wow. So listen,
Tech
man.
Talk Now.
Yeah, Tech Talk Now. That was the metaverse. So, this is episode 121. Once again, I want to thank the viewers for watching, either live or watching it back. I want to thank the listeners for listening on the DSPs. We want to thank you for subscribing, sharing, commenting, all of that. It's extremely important, and we absolutely appreciate you. We absolutely appreciate you. Do you have anything else, Sam, before we go to?
Get ready for the closeout.
Man, you are on one this morning. You have so many drops, and this just brings me joy. It shows me your level of excitement for this episode as you prepare. Look, as we prepared for episode 121, you were over there giddy because you knew you were bringing a
New
host.
SG trilogy.
Man,
There
you
it
are
is.
absolutely right.
No, man. I just want to
AC
reiterate
from LA.
that we are so happy that our viewers and listeners take time to join us anytime that we're on. You all have been flexible because we've had some Saturdays that we were off and we were on Wednesdays. I think we did a Tuesday. So we've kind of had to adjust our schedules. It's funny, we talk football, so we often talk about calling an audible, but still making sure we're bringing you some meaningful content, and hopefully you're enjoying yourself. As mentioned, we did put our contact us up where you can stay connected with us. You can always chime in live with questions, comments, concerns, because we want to interact with you. And here at the Collective Podcast, we are only as strong as our audience. So thank you for giving us your time.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for that. All right, man. So that being said,
Get ready for the closeout.
Oh, this is great. All right. So last week, the Collective Podcast, we took a hiatus. And it was a hiatus that, for me, it was something that really was needed. And with life, it seems like life comes in so many different chapters. So last week's chapter for me was I focused on relaxation, reflection, and recovery. I was able to duck out of town to get back home and spend some time with family, friends. Everyone who I was able to lay my eyes on last week is someone who I love, value, and respect. And so, as I said, it was so important to have time to relax, to reflect, and to recover. I think in life we consume so much, we quite often don't look at the importance of relaxation, reflection, and recovery. And it would behoove everyone to incorporate relaxation, reflection, and recovery. So thank you to everyone that has supported me in all of my endeavors. Last week was phenomenal time just to unplug. Got to spend some time with my co-host, share some laughs. We shared a lot of laughs, which we always do, but we shared some face-to-face laughs, and we just had a great time. And not to bring the excitement factor down, but this has been a really tough week in which one of my best friends from college, I had no idea this is a person who excelled academically. Fast forward, upon graduating, worked at a very high level in the financial sector. And last Saturday, I received a call that he transitioned. He decided to take his life. And so for me, this is a person that I traveled internationally with, a person that I confided in, 20 some odd years of friendship. So he will definitely be missed. And then fast forward 2 days after receiving that call, I received another call that the man who's responsible for me becoming a member of Phi Beta Sigma, Darren Brady, after a long bout fighting cancer, he transitioned. He died from pancreatic cancer. So, two men that definitely meant a lot in my life, who I respected, admired, loved. May their memories, the memory of Troy Jenkins and Darren Brady, may their memories live forever. And I know their memories of them will live forever through me. As long as I'm here, I will always have nothing but the utmost respect and so many great memories of both of those great individuals.
Wow. I'm sorry for your losses, and thank you for sharing that, Sam. So for me, as you know, Sam and I are back together after the week off of his 3 R's, which I guess you could say I took part in those 3 R's also, and had a chance to connect with him, which was huge. If I say these words, you're going to think of a song. There's a war going on, and I'm not. It's not a Mobb Deep line. There's a war going on. Probably multiple wars, but there's a war that we all know about, but then there are other things going on also. For instance, there was a really bad earthquake in Morocco, and my sister's actually in Morocco right now. She's in Marrakesh right now, helping out with a humanitarian aid effort. So blessings to the people who are helping other people throughout the world. So let's go with that. Blessings to people who are helping other people throughout the world. I'll talk to Sam about this, but I want to do some breakdowns of what is going on in said war. Next week, talk about what's going on between those two sides, and how Egypt adjacent is actually related. So we could we'll most likely talk about that. But like right now, for anybody that's trying to render aid, shout out to you. And I just want to leave it at that. I'm very proud of my sister and what she's doing, and the group that she's out there with, and other people who are doing those things. So shout out to them. And that's really what I have for the closeout this week. Just love on your people. Like I always say, love on the people that you love, and make sure that they know that you love them. Make sure that they know that you appreciate them, because there are so many times when people don't know how you feel, and sometimes you don't get the opportunity to tell them and let them know. So please let them know. This is my guy. We were together, and that was really important. And my daughter is here. She's ready for this to be over. We're gonna have breakfast after this. I love this kid, and of course that's her cue. She wants to be seen. So okay,
Well, she is the executive producer of the show, so she should be seen.
Your hips.
Hey, hi, good morning.
Hey, you look challenged. Can you get yourself together? Okay, there she is. All right. So that's it. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. This is the Collective Podcast. This is episode 121. That was the closeout,
Get ready for the closeout.
or the closeout just happened. Again, this
New
is
Collective Podcast.
the Collective Podcast. He is
USG Trilogy.
SD Trilogy, and I am
AC from LA.
Hey, we appreciate you. Yo, we love this, and we're right at 91 minutes, and that's class of 91. 91. No, Sam is 92, but hey, shout out to y'all for coming through. Sam, we out.
And shout out to Anton Barnes for bringing it, the brand architect. You can find him on Instagram. Good dude. He's connected with me. AC connect with him. But yeah, shout out. Thank you for joining us, Anton. And throw those sneakers in the mail. Addresses are on the way. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Sam, please do send my address in here also. Yeah, let's get out of here, man.
Bye bye, Sam.